Meanwhile.
Yeah, baby. Protect female sports. There you go. Yeah.
They're kicking us out because we care about women and girls.
No, that's not true. That's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm an activist myself. You can't say that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I got love for everybody.
Is it no signs allowed?
Just outside.
Just our sign.
No signs inside?
Just our sign.
No signs inside?
Our sign's not allowed. Other signs are allowed. There's a girl not going to state.
Because of what?
Because of a boy. Right now.
Because
Just
of
happened.
what?
There's a
Just
transgender female in there that's winning?
Just went to state.
Really?
Just now.
In high school?
10 minutes ago.
Shut up. What
Took a
event?
girl spot. 1,600 girls.
That is disgusting. I find that fucking offensive. It shouldn't even fucking matter. It's none of your business what someone else does. That's offensive. You have fucking issues. I feel fucking sorry for all the sorry athletes.
What is wrong with
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about a story that we have been warning about, people with common sense that is, in this country, for a long time in regards to what is happening with biological boys taking over girls' sports. Okay, we're truly living in cuckoo for Cocoa Puff world, and it seems like the people who lectured us for years about women's rights, okay, and how we must care about women and their feelings, they don't give a damn about the feelings of women or young girls who are slowly but surely seeing themselves either be replaced or out competed against by biological boys and men. Okay, and this story right here that I have to talk about is truly a heartbreaking story. Okay, as you have a trans-identified California high school track star blows out female competitors, costing women athletes their awards. Now, again, this is a big deal because you have young high school girls who work super hard to perfect their craft, okay, to be good at their sport, and basically they're getting their dreams and aspirations shattered because a biological boy decided that, hey, I'm a girl and I'm going to compete against girls, and because men and women are different biologically, we all know what happened. Okay, so without further ado, let's read about this because this is controversial. There were protests. There's all types of, heartbreaking consequences that are happening in this story as a result of Looney Tunes world. So without further ado, let's get into it. A trans-identified male student athlete will be moving on to compete in California's state and field state tournament next week after placing second in the women's 1,600 meter race, beating out female competitors that will no longer get the chance to compete for a state title. Athena Ryan, a biological male, will be advancing to the California Interscholastic Federation CIF State Track and Field Championships after placing second in the girls' varsity 1,600 meter run on Saturday, finishing behind Hanny Thompson of Montgomery and ahead of Ellie Buckley of Campolindo, Fox News reports. Ryan had been competing on the Sonoma Academy's boys track and field team until he transitioned into a female in 2021, according to Daily Mail. Yeah, so what you have here is there's an athlete, a biological male by the name of Athena Ryan, who decided to compete against girls. Okay, and this person ended up taking away a spot from a biological girl. As you can see here, this is the award ceremony.
And third place, the time of 1:11:48 from Campolindo High School, Ellie Buckley. Woohoo! And second place, the time of 1:11:48. And first place with a time of 1:11:05 from Montgomery High School, Hannah Trumpshire.
Yeah, so let me rewind this so you guys can see exactly what's going on here, right? The trans athlete is number 2, okay? The athlete that lost their spot because the trans athlete took their spot, okay, who would have been 3rd had it not been for the trans identified male, is this girl right here, okay? Now, this girl right here, when they were first giving out the awards, look at her hands. She waves and then she gives a thumb down, right? So she's pissed because the alleged girl right next to her just took her spot. Again, this is what women have to go through. Now, let's read more about this woman's story. Again, her name is Adeline Johnson, okay? She plays 4th. Let's read more about her story because it's heartbreaking. Senior Adeline Johnson, who placed 4th, lost her chances of advancing to the championship meet by 1 spot and was seen on video during the ceremony giving a thumbs down while standing next to Ryan, who is currently a junior. Johnson, 18, was in a comeback season after fracturing her hip in the summer of 2022. Yeah, so that's heartbreaking. So again, imagine, she's a senior. She doesn't have another shot at this, right? This is her last shot at competing in high school. Now, the trans person is a junior. The trans person who would have come in basically almost last place if they had competed against boys, decided to compete against girls. And because of that, the trans boy finishes 2nd, takes a spot away from one of the girls who had broke her hip last year. Broke her hip. This is a comeback season. This is her last shot. She works her ass off and would have advanced to the state championship had it not been for the trans-identified athlete. These are the stories. These are the tragic events that happen to young girls that liberals claim it's not a big deal, right? Nobody cares. Okay? Nobody cares. Young girls are supposed to just be okay with this. They're supposed to just suck it up. It's absolutely amazing. The Independent Council on Women's Sports, a network that fights to eliminate trans-identified men from competing against women, posted a series of clips to Twitter that showed Ryan blowing his female competitors out of the water. Ryan, still a junior, blew by female seniors in the field, signed to run at NCAA Division I schools this coming fall, Icons said on Twitter. Okay, so this person got a scholarship because they are a trans-identified male. They not only took a spot away from a girl in the state championships, they also took away a scholarship opportunity. They're already signed to compete at the college level. This is insane. This is insane. These type of traumatic experiences for young girls and women is what the left endorses, right? They're in full endorsement of this. Individuals came to the track meet to protest trans-identified student athletes competing against women and were removed by security, according to Icons. Quote, security removed women from the field seen holding signs in support of girls in the sectional meet. Many parents were completely unaware there was a boy competing in girls' races. Others were appreciative that they were there when they themselves felt silence. The group wrote on Twitter, sharing photos of women with a banner that reads, quote, protect women's sports. Yeah, so that's the video I played at the beginning of them getting kicked out. The women holding the banner belonged to a group called Women Are Real and said that they received praise all evening, with members of the crowd coming out of the stands to give them, quote, fist bumps and high fives. After the race, Ryan appeared to be unfazed by the protesters and told Miles Split on his 2nd place finish, quote, I wasn't expecting that. I dropped like 17 seconds on my season's best in the past 2 weeks. After last weekend, I didn't think I could run low 5s again. I was told just coming here, trying to break 5. Just glad I finished it out, Ryan told the outlet, adding that he hopes he does well next week. University of Kentucky's swim star Riley Gaines, who is fighting for women's sports after losing to trans-identified UPenn swimmer Leah Thomas, told Daily Mail, quote, "It's time to step down and give the government bodies a big thumbs down, just as Adeline has done." California Interscholastic Federation outlines its stance on trans-identified athletes competing in their competitions on its website under gender identity participation, which reads, quote, "All students should have the opportunity to participate in CIF athletics and or activities in a manner that is consistent with their gender identity. Currently, most athletic programs are offered separately for boys and girls as outlined in CIF bylaws 300.b and C, the sections at." Yeah, so, they basically allow this to happen anyways, right? So they allow it to happen, okay, and this is the result. But you do have some other stories here about this where you have silent protests that are beginning, okay? Like, for example, this story right here about how women cyclists refuse to stand on the winner's podium after a transgender woman wins the race. Again, this happened out in Colorado. Let's read a little bit about this. The women who won second and third place at a Colorado cycling race refused to show up to the podium for photo ops after a man claiming to be a transgender woman won a race in the women's category on Sunday. Colorado resident Leslie Mumford, who claims to have transitioned to a woman in 2017, won the top spot in the women's category at Sunday's 100-mile Desert Gavel, Colorado to UT. Still, he stood on the winner's stand alone when the runners-up refused to attend the medal ceremony, according to the New York Post. Quote, "I have no idea why so many people bailed before the podiums, but they did." Mumford wrote as a caption to a photo showing him standing alone on the winner's stand. Quote, "I swear I wasn't the only one in my age group." Mumford was 6th overall in the women's category and beat out 35 female competitors. Yeah, women are standing up against this, right? A lot of women are pissed off. They're like, yo, this is crazy. But we're not going to really see much progress on this issue until you have women as a whole stand up for their rights, because women are being replaced. And if you're not seeing this happen before your very eyes, I don't know what to tell you. It's a shame that we have to wait until this becomes a huge problem before people feel the need to act. I mean, if I was a woman, I would feel like, this is inevitable, right? This is the future. This is where it's going, because more and more young people, kids particularly, are identifying as LGBTQ and trans. So that means that there's going to be a lot more of this in the future. And if women don't want to be replaced, okay, in beauty pageants, in sports, on game shows, just in general society, then they need to speak out louder than ever before now, not later. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.